I think today's lesson is simply recognizing that there is no trade to take. Separate the morning scalps from the overall direction of the trade also, and to stay confident if you see the direction of something going. So hopefully I can see this in the video today and just practice this over and over. If there is no trade, do not take a trade. All right, it may not work, but let's try it anyway. Shorting NVIDIA, it went up. Let's take a look at what it's doing here on the hourly chart. And you can see that it's going up to some trend lines that are coming down. And as soon as I entered a short up there, unfortunately, I didn't stay in it. I should have just been more confident in this because I had gotten short way up here, and I don't know why. You can see right up here it's hitting the 100 moving average going down, the 50s going down, the higher time charts. And so I started to short. But let's take a look what the market was doing. What the market was doing was creating a pintail here, a high pintail coming up, coming down. That's a kind of a bearish thing, and there's a big gap to fill. So I'm thinking, it's probably smart to try to short this down a little bit. So right over here on the 15-second chart, as soon as I saw that stuff, I shorted right here. You can see this red dot here, but the problem is it kept chopping around. I really wanted it to just go straight down, and so what happened was I made a rookie mistake and didn't stay confident on it, and I was going to put my stop at the high, and I should have done that. So I shorted here and closed here. So that's the problem. So we got back in after reassessing everything and looking like, and now if it goes back over the high of the day, I'll just get out. I think that's the smart thing to do. We reshorted right here. It's possibly the smart thing to do, because if the market changes direction, I don't want to be adding to a long position. So right here is another short, our second trade, which is going against us now, but I'll let you know how it goes. My initial short on the open can work, but even if it's going against the overall trend, but you got to get out, because if it's going against the overall trend and you're holding it, then it can be bad. Because what we have here on the 2-minute chart is we have all the moving averages crossed over and going in the right direction. Everything's over the 50, everything's going up, right? Same thing with the 5-minute chart. Here we have the 5-minute chart from yesterday. Everything crossed over. Remember, we talked about changing directions in the late afternoon, and it's still in that direction, right? So we have the crossover here of the 8 over the 20. Still below the 50, but on the 15-minute chart, but the crossover on the 15-minute chart is all you need. When you got the 5 and the 2 all agreeing that the crossover is taking place, then trying to short is very risky unless you're trying to break even to get out of the trade. So right now I need to decide, if it goes over the top of this, I need to just get out, because it could keep on going and we don't want to be on the wrong side. Okay, I closed the position for the short. It hasn't gone down yet. Usually that's just a first morning short opportunity, and I kind of blew it when I got out too early. Then you got to go with where the market's going. That first 2-minute to 5-minute chance to short the market based on some extremes is past. So now I got to look at the markets and say, what's going on here? We got the 2-minute bullish, the 5-minute bullish, 15-minute bullish in the short term. And the market is strong, as you can see right here. It keeps trending up right here. So I can't try to just keep shorting this. Now, it may go short, and it might have been a good idea, but it's past. I got to keep some sensibilities here and some rules. If it comes down now, if the market stays strong, if all the moving averages are strong on the 5-minute chart, I'm just going to go long on it instead of trying to short. At any moment, we could get a crossover, though, on the 2-minute chart here, where everything drops below the 50, and the 50 could easily start curving around. And when that does, we got to be on guard. Not so much on the 2-minute, but watching very carefully on the 5 if it continues to follow suit. If it drops and curves around, it means it's going to drop under the 200 and drop below the 8. That it doesn't mean anything necessarily. It could be a good time to buy if our direction is determined by the 5-minute chart. Then we could buy it as it fills the gap and bounces off the 20. So we got mixed signals. We've got a nice pop here. The 8 and 20 on the 15-minute chart are going up nice and strong. So yeah, this could be, you know, a buying opportunity for it. So we have to put everything together and figure out what the best thing is to do here. Okay, we got to take our chance and buy off this moving average. It could be a bad thing, but right here on the 5-minute chart, you can see it was bouncing off the 8 and the 200. Now it's breaking down below it and breaking down below the low of the day right here. Could be coming down into the close, which is right into this area just above the 200 moving average. I'm sorry, the 20 moving average. So we'll have to pay attention to that and see if I should be buying and adding here just in a moment. Let's see what the market's doing. Market's a little red. And so this is one of those times. See what the hourly chart looks like. It's coming down to the 20 moving average. Hourly 15-minute chart, it's coming down into the close and the 50 moving average. So I'll let you know if I buy and where I buy. I want to make a note that you know, I could have just kept holding this short because when it was making lower highs, you know, right here on the 15-minute chart, making lower highs, and it broke down. When it broke down and finally closed below, notice all three moving averages, the 8, the 20, and the 50, right here in this little red candle right here, when it finally closed, that's a good place to look for an entry. Even if you don't hold it very long, the stop loss is short, and it's about 5-6x profit on that to the downside. You know, so this is just good to review and learn. Now it's putting in a pintail. Let's get me back up over my entry, and it's kind of hard to see which way this thing wants to go. So I may just get out of it and just wait for some confirmation, or I may hold it because it needs to get back up over the moving averages. But on the 5-minute chart, it is, well, it's just below the 8 moving average. Okay, so it's below the 8 moving average. It's below the 200 moving average. It's trying to get back up over those things, you know. And you know, a good place to add to this is if it does come down. So I still have a reasonable expectation that it could come down and bounce. It's such a strong pop up here on the 15-minute chart over here. There's no sense in saying that, you know, get out and keep being wishy-washy about it. So I'm going to stay long for now, and if it were to cross, if the 8 were to cross the 20 on the 5-minute and start going in the other direction, that's when I have to get out. I'd trade in the direction of the 5-minute chart. I closed the position because it's hard for me to determine what I want to do. The 5-minute chart, the 200 moving average price tried to go up and came back down. When I saw the rejection off of that, I got nervous right here. Came up and came back down right here. And I was like, okay, maybe it's not going to get back over the 200 moving average. On the 5-minute chart, if it gets back up over the 200 moving average and closes and starts to push up, consolidate and continue up, right now it's getting trapped underneath it, trapped under the 8. So on the 5-minute chart, even though 3 moving averages that I like to watch are bullish, they're expanded, they're stretched out pretty far, let them contract and see if they stay positive. And I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait. Sometimes I just trade because I want to be in a trade and I need to stop. Okay, I'm getting chopped around here. I'm going to try one more time. As we can see on the 5-minute chart, NVIDIA has closed above the 200 moving average with a nice bounce off the 20, which I should have added down there. I should have added down there, kept the long. I was too nervous. It could still reverse and close below this, but it looks like some good support down here. So I'll stay long unless it closes and pushes below this pivot and below the 20. All right, I'm not going to keep getting in and getting out. All right, everything, and the market itself has put on some nice pintails here. We'll see if it continues, but that's a good sign for it to continue up. But if everything crashes below this and consolidates and pushes down, I have no choice but to get out. The market is so choppy. I'm getting so fickle here. You know, it's trying to push back. It's trying to push down below. I said I was going to stay in it unless it broke this pivot and I got out early. Little wishy-washy action going on here. It's coming down to those pivots. Let's see what happens. That's the markets, though. On the actual stock chart itself, it's holding. Those pivots are down here on the 2-minute chart. It's holding. And I scalped a little bit over here because of the choppiness. And I figured it was going to come back down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So now it's taken off. The market pierced the 8, and then it's going right back up over the top. But, you know, I'm not 100% convinced this is going to continue. You know, the day chart looks something like this. Looks like a little flat day. A little flat day. It could stay like this all day long, you know. So let's continue to watch the 5-minute chart. See, the 5-minute chart is definitely giving us the direction. As long as it closed above the 200 and the 8, I just got chopped around. I didn't stay patient. It never came down past these pivots on the 5-minute chart. And, you know, I got to set my target, set my goal, set my trade, and stick to it. So let's learn that. Okay, now price is closing above. It did close above the moving averages. Of course, the 8 and the 20 are not above the 50 yet, so it's very choppy. The market's trying to close below the 8 moving average, and it did push below those pivots. So let's see if NVIDIA follows through here or not, because this is what it looks like on NVIDIA. The market's pushing down below these pivots. NVIDIA's holding up stronger. So if the market takes NVIDIA down, we'll see a short. But, you know, but the 5-minute chart's showing us some strength. So it's hard to short when it looks like this on the 5-minute chart, and you got a nice pop on the 15-minute chart. So if things turn negative on the 5 and the 2, both, that's when we're in the short concept.